Sister brought my Ab-sive twin to our family dinner to reconnect, and now she's facing estrangement while I uphold firm, clear boundaries. Can you imagine seeing the person who nearly killed you as a child suddenly standing in your in-laws' living room, all because someone you trusted thought they were doing you a favor? I thought I'd finally escaped my abusive past, but that night, it walked right through the front door, escorted by a betrayer. I'm almost 30 and I have a fraternal twin sister. My parents had us late, after a long struggle with fertility, and were told their entire pregnancy that I was a boy. Their gender disappointment? It was crushing. My entire childhood, my twin and I were raised by these people who, frankly, were irredeemable. The neglect, the emotional and financial abuse, the sheer cruelty, it ruined my childhood and my teenage years. I won't go into all the details right now, but trust me, I'll never speak to them again. I left home the day I turned 18. When I asked for my papers, my IDs, my social security number, I didn't just get them. I also got a cease and desist order from my own parents. I haven't spoken to them since and I had no plans to. But then out of nowhere an email popped up in my work inbox. It was from my estranged twin. My new name, the one I legally changed at 21 to escape the unisex name my parents gave me, is attached to that email. Her message was this bizarre, passive-aggressive rant. She wished I was around, she said, because everyone says twins should be so close. And then the kicker. She basically demanded invitations to my upcoming wedding. I was floored. How did she find my work email? How did she even know I was getting married? It felt like a ghost from a past I had meticulously buried was scratching at the surface. My twin. She realized early on she was the golden child. She used that power to torture me. She'd hide her things in my tiny, cold basement room and then send our father down to retrieve them. The results of these searches varied. Sometimes I was padlocked in that basement, only let out for school or meals. I had a tiny bathroom down there, just a sink in the unfinished concrete. Other times it was physical beatings. Both my dad and mom hit me. I fell a lot down the stairs or slipped constantly. The worst time? When we were 17, she shoved me down those basement stairs. I ended up with a broken arm, a concussion, and stitches on my head. My parents forced me to lie to say I fell because they didn't want her to get in trouble. My friends helped me escape 2 months later, right after graduation. I was done. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago. My husband's younger sister, my 22-year-old sister-in-law, Orisel, had apparently been posting about my estranged family on her blog. She's a bit of an influencer. Now, my past isn't a secret. I'm very open with my husband and his family about what happened to me and why I'm estranged. But Sil left out a lot of context. Her followers, bless their well-meaning but misguided hearts, started encouraging her to mend the relationship between me and my family. My twin's emails quickly escalated into screaming phone calls and threats. I was already looking into a restraining order, but she suddenly stopped, so I paused at a cease and desist. I thought it was over. I was so wrong. We were at my husband's parents' house for dinner. Hale stood up, beaming, and announced she had a surprise for me. My blood ran cold. She told me she had driven my sister, a 26-hour cross-country journey, so we could reconnect and be a family again. The woman who traumatized me, who I have CPTSD from, was there. In my in-laws' house. My husband's parents were absolutely mortified. They immediately pulled me into a back room while my husband, bless him, went straight to calling the police, yelling at his sister. Apparently, my twin had spun a whole new narrative for us all, claiming she never laid a hand on me. Hale didn't think the abuse was that bad. My twin was out in her car when the police arrived, ready with the waterworks. Sil actually tried to defend her, until my husband's mother, a former domestic violence advocate herself, calmly told the police about the existing cease and desist order. The police didn't hesitate. They took my twin straight to the airport, putting her on an immediate flight home at Sil's expense. She was given a formal warning. Our police force's hands are tied until she commits another act. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind. Hale was completely ostracized by her own family. My husband and his father absolutely ripped into her for pulling such a stunt. His mother, the DV advocate, refused to speak to her. She was furious that anyone would try to force a victim to see their abuser. My husband gave me the final say on when, or if, I'd ever be ready to hear Sil's apology. I knew it would be a ton of excuses, but the truth is I don't ever want to see Sil again. She had high hopes of being a godparent or a cool aunt when we have kids, but finding out what she'd done, it cut me to the core. How do I even begin to tell someone who watched me grow up, who knew my story down to the smallest detail, that her betrayal was so profound I can't ever forgive her? My husband was 100% behind me. We decided to send Sal a cease and desist letter, telling her she wasn't welcome around us for the foreseeable future. My in-laws supported us. When I told my mother-in-law that Sal wouldn't be welcome in our home for the holidays we were set to host, she didn't bat an eye. And Sal complied. All traces of my life, every photo from our wedding, every happy birthday message she'd posted on her blog, things I didn't even know were there, were gone. As for my twin and my biological parents, legal things were in the works. I booked therapy sessions 3 times a week and started looking into anti-anxiety meds. This was a lot. Then the actual restraining orders came through. My parents, my sperm donor and egg donor and my twin sister all received them. And then, nothing. Well, almost nothing. My maternal grandfather, grandfather, a truly scummy, cheating bastard who treats my twin like she's the son, called in a welfare check on me. He spun a tale. My husband beats me daily, I'm held hostage, he degrades me. The police thankfully saw right through it. They said his evidence all came from my estranged twin who, conveniently, isn't allowed to be a witness. They even loved our ducklings when they came inside. Our attorney sent grandfather a cease and desist. The text messages my twin sent to my aunt, the woman who helped me escape, were even wilder. My twin truly believes I'm an abused spouse, only doing what my husband tells me. She described me as looking awful and skinny, with a black eye, and filthy clothes. She thinks my husband is holding me hostage and that his family is afraid of him. Her final text was pure delusion. I pray to God she doesn't get pregnant with this sociopath. What if he hurts her and her baby? My egg donor was concerned about this too, apparently. We forwarded everything to our attorney. He's building a solid case against these false allegations. We even started locking down our workplaces, informing our bosses of what was happening. Then the unthinkable happened. Sile broke into our home. She took some things of little value, grabbed my mother-in-law's car, and fled to her new boyfriend's house a few states away. My in-laws cut her off completely, except for legal necessities. They told her to never come home. We moved apartments in 3 days, telling no one where we were going. Hale had a screaming meltdown with my mother-in-law before her phone was disconnected, accusing me of turning the whole family against her. It just kept going. My twin contacted a college friend of mine, spinning the same abusive husband narrative, worried about my unborn baby. My friend, bless his heart, told her she had the wrong person because his Jane Smith, my common new name, has a pacifist husband and couldn't get pregnant. Twin insisted she had the right Jane Smith and demanded to know why I couldn't get pregnant. He blocked her and called me, apologizing profusely, but I was just so relieved. Someone else shut her down. Then my egg donor called our attorney, demanding my medical records. My aunt, who wisely let her calls go to voicemail, just told her, everyone knows about that surgery, it's old news. Egg donor and twin started emailing me, violating the restraining order, demanding to know why I had my tubes tied, and why I'd done something so selfish. They'd counted on me to give them grandchildren, the email said, adding that they had hoped I would carry a son for twin. I was just a means to an end. It was disgusting. Our attorney was ready to make them pay for violating the RO. Turns out, SL was finally in police custody. Her boyfriend's girlfriend witnessed some suspicious behavior and blackouts. It was drugs. Al was caught. My husband was heartbroken, shattered that his family knew she was using and never told us. He blamed himself, saying he could have prevented it. I told him, she made these decisions under the influence or not. She has to live with the consequences. Then came the truly shocking news about my biological parents. They tried blaming my estranged twin for all the abuse I went through. As if I'd forgotten how much they abused me and allowed her to abuse me. It didn't work. My twin was in the hospital, but not because of a meltdown she caused. My parents had abused her for 3 days straight. Withheld food and water, screamed at her, refused to let her leave, hit and threw things at her. She had a breakdown while being treated for her injuries at urgent care, and was then taken to the hospital. Her doctor and mental health team reported it. Charges were filed against my egg and sperm donors. Our lawyers said they'd be lucky to get a jail sentence that wasn't a minimum of a few years. Finally, we no longer had anything to worry about from them. 30 days later we left. We didn't tell a soul. We landed a few days ago, in quarantine now at a friend's house with our animals. Everyone is happy and healthy. Well, almost everyone. My husband felt so relaxed back with his friends. He finally called his family to tell them we were gone. Gran and Gramps were furious. My husband, already grumpy from trying to quit coffee, finally lost it. He told them that if anyone was to blame, it was them and SL. He even retracted our offer to financially help them. Karma, however, wasn't done. Someone tried to open a credit account in my name. My biological parents. They didn't get their dream home near us because of an outstanding $180,000 debt in my egg donor's name. Turns out she spent $90,000 on my twins' wedding and honeymoon, then financed her divorce, and the rest was just debt. They tried to use my name as a second person on a lease, but my frozen credit and IRS PIN stopped them cold. So with just my sperm donor's terrible credit, they got nothing. Their old house was foreclosed on. They were sofa surfing at JN grandfather's, who, upon learning why their application was denied, kicked them out. They ended up sleeping in their car. I filed for identity theft. And then the finale. My sperm donor finally had enough. He got his old job back, moved in with a friend, and told my egg donor that everything wrong in their marriage was her fault. It turned violent. She tried to scratch his eyes out. He threw her out, saying he had no family because of her. He apparently didn't know she was using my credit to try to get that house, and that was where he drew the line. Not at beating me, not at torturing me, not at the constant screaming. No, it was pissing off JN grandfather. He decided he could just dump her and start over. A loving, caring wife, sons. They had no assets, so divorce would be simple. Egg donor, convinced I'd gotten to him, demanded my information. He called the police. She was throwing rocks, screaming, and then went crazy on an officer. She's in jail now, assault on an officer, pending psychiatric evaluation. She probably won't be released anytime soon. My sperm donor is now kissing JN grandfather's ass, hoping to get back into the family. Joke's on him. JN grandfather arranged for my twins' long-term care, bankrolling it himself. He's selling his house, rewrote his will to leave everything to my JN aunt, and is moving to be near her. My sperm donor is alone. My egg donor is screwed. I think I'm finally free. I don't have to worry anymore. With them busy tearing each other apart, and my younger sister's other consequences for her actions. I'm finally truly free. It's a weird sentence to say. I almost feel like I'm jinxing myself. But IVF is going so well. We have our new happy lives. I think I don't need to be back here anytime soon. I hope. What would you have done in my place when SIL dropped that bomb at dinner? Have you ever faced such deep betrayal from family? Tell me what you think in the comments. I really want to know.